So what's an honor band? Well, that's a great question. If you have a young child and your band director is encouraging your child to participate in the honor band, that's a really good thing. That means your band director is seeing some positive musical things from your child, and the band director is trying to um, provide some growth for them. So let's talk about, generally speaking, what an honor band is, because an honor band can take on a ton of forms. We have an honor band in my town called the Beginner Honor Band, and it's really actually an invitational. So let's go ahead and we can talk about what invitationals are. And invitationals are where you are just invited to be a part of the band. So for our elementary school honor band, what actually happens is I will provide a list of names to the honor band committee, who will then go through the list of usually a few hundred names of students to put together an honor band of like 150 beginners. There is no audition process or anything. They really just look at instrumentation, try to get as many kids involved as possible, which means each school probably gets a certain number of students to be able to join that honor band, but it's much more of an invitational sort of thing rather than a true honor band. So what is a true honor band? Well, that is where your child is going to go and audition to be in a auditioned group. It's usually based upon age, so there might be a middle school honor band, or say a 6th through 8th grade honor band, or a 7th and 8th grade honor band, or a high school honor band. There's going to be pretty much a standard set of auditions, and typically what those are is, first off, scales. They will always be part of honor bands, and if your child is loving music, that needs to be in their daily routine. I tell my students several times a day, they take their instrument out of the case and go ahead and play scales. So those are going to be something that'll be part of their audition process forever. I was in a military band, and the first step in my audition process was having to play all of my scales. The second part is going to be some sort of etude or a couple of etudes. So with those etudes, they will address usually two different things. Their ability to play, or they're checking tone quality, things like that, so maybe a lyrical piece. And then something that's going to check on technique and see what their grasp technically is of the instrument. So there'll be two things. They're usually, in a lot of states, at least here where I'm at in Louisiana, there's a rotation. So we know that, for example, the high school honor band is going to be, set 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then it goes back to set 1, 2, 3, and 4 and rotates. We do the same thing for our middle school honor band. So I know today what next year's honor band music is. So that means over the summer I can work with my students to get the music prepared for that school year, since our honor bands anyway are early on in the school year. We've already had the auditions, and it is November, I believe, 5th. So we've already had those auditions, and actually tonight is our first rehearsal. So scales first, and then prepared etudes. The final thing is sight reading, which is typically where your child is going to see a piece of music for the very first time in the audition, and they will usually get 30 seconds to read. It's not always 30 seconds. Sometimes it could be more. It's really, up to, all this stuff is actually up to the people running the auditions, but this is kind of your go-to. And so they'll see that music for the first time, they'll look at it, and they'll play through it at the audition. Then what they'll do is they'll take all the scores for all the students at the honor band, and they will go on ahead and determine who gets to be in that group. Then they'll go ahead and have some rehearsals. That varies greatly in different places. Here, again, where I'm at, we will have night rehearsals, and then a day rehearsal. The day of the concert, where we rehearse from 8 in the morning until noon. They go home for a few hours, and then the concert's that evening. Honor bands are a great place for students that are excelling to be able to participate with like-minded students who are at the same ability level as them. In most places, not all, but in most places, An honor band is going to play a little bit more challenging music than what they get to play at school. Again, that's not always the case, but for most honor bands, it's a great opportunity for your child to just play at a different level. Honor bands happen on a local basis. We have them here in Louisiana. If you don't know, we have parishes rather than counties, but in states with counties, you would have all county honor bands sometimes. There may be a region honor band, area honor bands, all state honor bands, and there are also groups that travel during the summer where you would be invited to perform, which is very similar to an honor band. We discussed the invitation earlier, but a lot of those groups are, if you make your all-states, you can audition to perform with these invitational groups, or you would get invited because of your all-state status to perform and travel with those groups. Strongly encourage it. If your band director is encouraging your child to do it, think positive. That is an awesome thing for your band director to seek out your child for that. Any questions, again, link or check down at the bottom. Go ahead and let me know if there's any other information or any other subjects you want me to discuss in our band parent tips. Thank you. Bye.